Good morning, all. Thank you for taking time out from your busy schedule to join this webinar. It is with great pleasure we welcome you to Cloud Enhancement and Managed Services webinar. My name is Mitul Kapade. I'm the regional head at Mastech UK, and I'm honored to be your host and guide throughout this engaging journey of knowledge and exploration. Our agenda for today is nothing short of exciting and insightful. We have very experienced speakers with us today, starting with Hemant Baradia, who has over 30 years of experience working in the local government space as an industry advisor. Along with him, we have Chris Reid, who also has over 30 years experience in the IT space, managing the managed service portfolio. The wealth of knowledge and experience our speakers have bring promises to make this webinar a valuable and enriching experience for all. Throughout the webinar, feel free to use the chat to ask a question or share your thoughts. Let's make this session interactive and engaging one. Once again, I extend a warm welcome to each and every one of you. Thank you for being part of today's webinar. Without further ado, let's get started with Chris Reid and what trend is Mastech seeing across its 120 customers. Enjoy the webinar.
Thanks, Mitul.
Over to you, Chris.
Thanks. Yeah, so I just wanted to start by talking about a few of the trends that we're seeing across our customer base. So, firstly, what we're seeing is one of the key things that customers say to us is that that keeping the lights on is important, but they're expecting more from a service provider and a partner. So, typically what they see and what we see is that an application support providers provide break fix services, and it's a natural path for a managed service provider to focus on SLAs, service levels, and technology KPIs. But that results really in just a service which fixes the problems, which doesn't drive value for the customer or the client. And what customers are looking for is partners and service providers that drive that value to ensure that they can maximise the return that they've spent on the return on their investment of their Oracle solution. And by doing that, are also looking at how they drive innovation as well. So how do they bring advisory services, tools, and accelerators, etc., and a better understanding of specific client needs within their business and how to adopt their Oracle solution to meet those requirements. Secondly, we want to just talk a bit about how clients are looking to improve self-sufficiency, but I'll pass over to my colleague Hemant, who's going to talk a bit more about that.
Thank you, Chris. Particularly focusing on private sector and local government, they're both very similar challenges. So, for example, in the private sector, you'll be talking about profitability and making sure that you're getting most value after your investments. In the private sector, there is a continuing pressure around available funding, particularly over the last 10 years. This has become an issue, and a lot of councils are struggling in making sure that they actually have a balanced budget. So that creates quite a lot of financial pressure within the system. Some of the other things we're seeing is that councils tend to struggle in recruiting and retaining staff, particularly when you're talking about specialist technical areas like IT, like systems, because that's not their core business. Their core business is frontline services around housing, social care, education, etc. So when they're focusing on that, it's about making sure how do you get that balance right. Some of the other thing, again, related to resources, local authorities in particular will struggle in having a dedicated resource covering the whole host of just doing operations, but also with Oracle, you get quarterly updates. So you need somebody who's going to keep an eye on that, identifying opportunities and kind of embedding those, kind of delivering those changes and improvements, and constantly doing that, the what next. So again, that creates a lot of pressure for an organization if you're trying to run efficient services. We have seen quite a lot of councils bring back what they'd outsourced their IT services and technical services, because traditional outsourcing has become a bit of an issue and doesn't deliver constant improvements and change. And therefore, what they're looking for is something different, something that is a kind of a more than outsourced. So the relationship is slightly different. So just bringing those kind of bits together does create an opportunity and a challenge for public sector and private sector organizations about how they want to kind of manage their systems and services. I'm going to hand over to Chris for the next bit, and then we'll pick up later on.
Thanks. So, and then just the third point is around how customers are managing that Oracle release strategy. So it's a big move from traditional on-prem type solutions through to SaaS environments and SaaS solutions, in that there is now a regular release strategy that you need to ensure that your business and your processes are in line with. Oracle releasing on a quarterly basis. Customers need to ensure that they've got a robust approach in terms of managing that release. And there's two aspects to that. One is around ensuring that they've got sufficient testing capability in order to provide to do the regression testing for the against those new releases. Secondly, it's about looking forward as well. So what new features and functionality are coming down the line within the next 1 or 2 releases of Oracle that could improve the current solution, as it's an evolving product. So are there new features and functionality that might improve existing business processes, new functionality that might change business processes in a different way? And it's key that customers consider it as a key part of their managed service and the ongoing support function that looks after the Oracle solution. Customers also looking at how they can automate that test function as well. Testing can be on a quarterly basis quite resource intensive and quite time consuming. So how can they automate as much as possible of that testing function as well? So that's what we're seeing from our customers. Now, sort of moving on to the next slide, we just wanted to talk about, what from our perspective, what should customers be looking for in terms of selecting or choosing a managed service provider? So firstly, it's around, an improved, achieving more of an improved customer experience. So what do I mean by that? I mean that, when we look at how to equip end users and the client themselves with the knowledge to improve, as we said, self-sufficiency and improving first-time fix rates for that customer help desk. So driving that sort of shift left type approach in terms of improving the ability to sort of to fix problems at a customer help desk and at an end user level as well. They're looking, so it's important that service providers can apply their experience and their best practice across similar types of clients and industries to blend their experiences and their portfolio of customers and improve that overall end-to-end service. Part of that is around knowledge management. So how does a service provider deliver a rich variety of self-help and knowledge-based articles, again gained from their sort of industry experience, and also how can they deliver that in a multi-channel type way, moving away from just sort of traditional web and phone type channels through to taking advantage of tooling that can provide virtual assistants and other chatbots to ensure that, again, customers and their help desks can sort of obtain that knowledge quite easily and effectively. And then the third point is around tooling and automation. So how again, as part of that shift left activity, are there tasks, repetitive tasks, are there standard tasks that can be automated in order to drive that sort of service improvement perspective as well? So from Hammond, what do you see from your sort of experience on the client side?
Thanks, Chris. Having kind of managed this from a client side, both as a fully in-house service to an outsourced service to a managed service, I can see how the really important piece is around having a partner and a collaborator. So you as a client need to identify a provider who's going to be part. That relationship is different. It's not your traditional supplier-customer relationship. You should be thinking about who's going to work with you to help you kind of move forward and identify solutions, etc. But you also want to kind of think about, is the offer going to be a flexible and scalable offer as your needs change? You want to be able to kind of be able to fix that, because you will have your own kind of service peaks and troughs that you want to kind of manage in an effective way. It's about kind of that flexibility within the arrangement. So the way that you design your SLA or service agreement is really important, and how you're going to be actually actively managing that relationship. The other thing really important is, does the provider actually understand your industry and your pressures and what are important for you and your end customers? And do they know how they can kind of help you kind of improve that experience and journey? Part of that also means, are they in a position, and how are they going to support you to upskill your existing staff, so that you are providing opportunities for staff to kind of grow and develop their skill set? So again, kind of thinking about, so what's in it for the organization and the people that work there? The other bit is, Chris mentioned about quarterly updates and how that happened. So what's the strategy and the program around, how are they going to identify these improvements and enhancements? Are they going to get early warnings, early kind of advanced notifications, etc.? And are they going to help you with kind of planning what your actions are going to be, what resources are going to be required, and how are they going to help you do that effectively? Chris mentioned about tools around automation and how you kind of do that. So this is about things you need to be able to aware of and kind of thinking about, so how do we do that? Two important bits of that is, what's their relationship with Oracle? Do they have a strong relationship so that they are getting the early advanced notifications, early engagement from Oracle around roadmaps, what's coming? So they are a bit more proactive rather than waiting for the notices to come through. So again, you need to kind of think of that whole relationship chain. Almost kind of the final point on this is, you as a client need to be very clear about, what are your performance indicators, what are your outcomes, what are the objectives you want out of this arrangement, and being very clear about how you're going to identify those and track those on a regular basis, and the relationship with the account manager, etc., within Mastech to kind of help you work out what's your best strategy around making sure that you're getting value for money on your investment. So those are really important things that you should be looking out for. I'm going to pass over to Chris for the next piece. Thank you.
Thanks. And then just finally on that, continual evolution or value improvement. So again, how do, as we mentioned earlier, how do how can a service provider help you as a customer measure and drive business value in your Oracle solution? And that's around ensuring that there are metrics and there are KPIs that you can measure in terms of that business performance. Look at business outcomes rather than sort of fixed rates, incident resolution, incident response times, all of which are important, but certainly understanding your business, understanding the context of the Oracle solution and how it's been implemented is key to helping drive that sort of business value. And it's a key part that we see just in terms of, again, as we mentioned, through new features and functionality that Oracle are releasing as part of the SaaS release. Understanding the impact to you and your business and what that means is important, and things that you should be looking for in terms of activities that a service provider will provide as a core part of the service. So there's some of the trends and the themes that we're seeing and that we think are important. So just to sort of follow on from that, I've got a slide now just to talk about some of the differentiators that we Mastech can bring in terms of delivering these things as part of a service, as part of an Oracle managed service. So business acceleration, is the first one. So business acceleration is our suite of tools and accelerators where we can provide insights into customers' business processes. And a key part of that is what we call our VBA tool, our value-based analytics, which has been developed with over 400 pre-built analytics. and 200 over 200 KPIs to measure and monitor return on investment across a wide range of business processes, covering all of the Oracle modules, the standard Oracle modules that customers implement. And this tool gives real-time dashboards and and insights into key processes for clients, and helps give them the information in order to drive business decisions based on operational efficiency, driving a more sort of efficient process improvement strategy on an ongoing basis. And this can be areas such as process optimization. So are you closing your books on time? How can you improve on your sort of period end closures, for example? But also things like system adoption as well. So identifying how users have adopted the system, where there's good utilization, where there could be areas for improvement, etc. And we see this as a really valuable component of our service in terms of ongoing development and ongoing improvement in terms of driving service. So that's one area. And then the second area is around Oracle Update Management. Again, this is a key part of the service that addresses the concerns and the trends around sort of like how do customers manage the Oracle release strategy. So this service manages and coordinates Oracle releases on behalf of our clients, and it includes the impact assessment that's specific to a client solution, regression testing of key processes, and then deployment of changes across the client environments. And to facilitate that, we've partnered with OpKey to automate that testing process. So we've got a wide range of experience across different client bases and industries, and have built up over the years a suite of scripts and pre-built scripts to test standard processes as part of that, which gives us a really sort of quick turnaround in terms of deploying standard testing and standard test scripts for clients across a wide range of modules. And as well as reducing dependency on manual testing resources, this function also helps drive quality and consistency in the testing process, and significantly reduces the testing times or the time to test that it takes for each testing cycle or release or quarterly release. So they're two of the technology differentiators that are key part of our service. We're just going to hand back to Mittal now, just to talk around some of our success stories from our customer perspective.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Hemant. I'm sure you've got a lot of insight around the managed support services. We have got many customers, as we discussed earlier, like over 100 plus customers globally across various different industries. We pick for just to highlight the recent success our customer in the UK predominantly have achieved by utilizing our services. So if I talk about, let's say, Northern County Council, where, as you can see, the install base or user base is more than 6,500, and this was a full transformation project we have delivered, which starting with the HR, finance, payroll, procurement, planning, budgeting, etc. With the help of the tool which Chris has mentioned, the value-based analytics, they have actually identified the KPIs early in the program, and we have then made sure that we continuously measure those KPIs against the results and throughout the journey. And also now they are into the full support, managed support services and full support mode. We are currently gathering all this the statistics, and they are now able to measure the success they've achieved. So again, clear evidence there that what return on investment they got it against the target they've set it up. Similarly, M Group Services, they have actually, with the help of our accelerators tool and with our robust managed support services, with our experienced consulting team we have, they have managed to reduce their IT debt over 80%, which is a huge improvement and huge thing for them as an organization. again, APC overnight is also another great example of our customers. They are into the logistic industry, very agile organization, because of the nature of the industry they are in. They've also gone through this transformation journey, and now they have all signed up the long-term managed support services contract with us. They are also continuously monitoring the success they've achieved with the help of, again, the accelerators. Also, they were actually now into this testing automation part as well. They're exploring that, how to automate that testing, as Chris already alluded, that the testing is key part, especially when Oracle releases the quarterly upgrades, and how you could basically make sure that you maintain, not only maintain the pace of that upgrade, of the quarterly upgrade, but also check your system when the new features are being introduced by Oracle, to make sure that those features are also, I mean, important for your organization, but also it doesn't impact the existing solution. So testing is very, very key thing. So again, our customers are enjoying that that automated testing tool by basically doing the testing on time, and also supporting their user base and giving the nice user experience. So those are few case studies we thought to share with you. If you are interested to know more about any of our customer and their case studies, we're more than happy to discuss more and one-to-one conversation. It's time for the question and answer. We'll take a 15-30 second pause to let people to put their question on the chat, and we can discuss and address those questions. Yeah, we got already one question in the chat. Chris, if you can answer, the question is, what commercial and service models work well for our customers?
I think what we see works well with customers is a range of flexible commercial models or commercial options. So the service, customers are expecting the service to evolve over time. Business requirements change. They want to choose a service provider that has flexibility in the way in which they deliver their service models commercially. SLA based consumption models are still popular, but with the ability to sort of flex services up and down. Customers are looking for different delivery models as well, so not just SLAs, as we've mentioned previously, but geared towards KPIs that have aligned to business outcomes. So actually what's important, measure what's success in terms of what's important to the customer. And then I guess the third point is probably around the sort of service teams as well. So service teams that have a mix of local presence, so still have an onshore presence, but with a sort of like, more of a stretch capability offshore in terms of that support capability. I think, we see it's really sort of valuable to clients. It's still having a level of localized presence, I think does sort of make a difference from our perspective.
Brilliant. Thank you, Chris. There's another one. How much time do customers spend on quarterly release? Very good point. Chris, you okay to shed some lights on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think this can be quite dependent on the solution. Yeah, so it can be, so obviously the size, complexity, the number of different Oracle tracks or Oracle modules that a customer implements can all have a bearing on terms of the amount of time and effort and the impact assessment that needs to go into understanding, the changes coming down the line. There are also regional variations as well. So, sort of if you think specifically around things like finance, for example, and, different regional variations that you might have as well, and different processes that might need to be tested. But sort of depending on these factors, I mean, manual test effort can be, could be sort of 2 to 4 weeks of effort. Typically for a customer, could be more, could be less. And this is where we really see the benefit of automated testing, choosing a provider that's got a suite of readily available scripts as well. So common processes can be tested quite quickly, and then maybe there's a level of customization that has to happen on the top sort of 20-30% of those test cases. So very much sort of like looking at ways in which service providers can reduce the manual effort in order to, as I said, drive sort of like consistency and quality of the testing process.
Brilliant. Thanks, Chris, again. We got one more. What roles do you see as key from the client side as part of managed support services? Hemant, are you okay to pick this one up, please?
Sure, Mithil, thank you.
Yeah.
So I think one of the things that I think you, as a client, you need to remember is this is your system, your solution, and you're the owner. And you need to make sure that you have effective assurance and governance arrangements in place. So you need a structure in place, but more importantly, you need a service owner, somebody who's going to be the kind of the key contact point between your client and your service provider, and the person who is responsible for managing and overseeing the delivery of the outcomes, the performance indicators, managing the relationship, etc. So that's a key role. But alongside that, you also need business owners, somebody in your side of the organization who understands the business, who understands why you're using that bit of technology, that bit of the system, and they can then kind of talk about what is changing in their operational world and how does the system align with that and make sure that those things are being delivered and included in that regular conversation. The third bit, which I briefly touched on in an earlier conversation about, is the people who are what we would call domain user, but more technically able and capable. And this is around how do they understand how the system is set up and how to make best use of it, so they can provide your kind of frontline service to your internal customers, and they kind of act as an additional kind of capacity within internally. And that's where kind of the training and the support is critical. So that kind of hopefully should give you enough robust structure to make sure that you're managing this relationship effectively.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you so much, Hemant. So yeah, I mean, we got quite a good number of questions. Guys, feel free to ask any more questions you have, or you can connect us or send us an email. We can address your questions. I'll just spend a couple of minutes on who we are as an organization and how we can help you in your journey of cloud transformation journey. So as an organization, we have Mastech is an enterprise digital and cloud transformation specialist that engineers excellence for customers across 40 countries globally, including the UK, Europe, US, APAC, and EMEA region. We help enterprises navigate digital landscape and stay competitive by unlocking power of data, modernizing their applications, and accelerating digital advantage for our customers. We are 40 years old, public listed organization with 5,000 plus consultants, and have served more than 1,500 customers globally till date across various sectors, including both private and public sector. Mastech is known for its trust, the value we bring to our customer, and with the velocity we deliver our projects. We have various different service lines within our portfolio, out of which one of the prominent service lines is Oracle Cloud Practice. Within our Oracle Cloud Practice, it covers a range of services such as business consulting, implementation, enhancement, upgrade, migration, rollout, and managed support services. And we also leverage a cutting edge technology or solution such as RPA, robotic process automation, chatbots, artificial intelligence, machine learning, Internet of Things, and analytics to support our customer in their journey. We have been recently recognized by both ISG in their Challenger quadrants and Gartner in their Magic quadrants for the cloud application and support services. If you are interested to know more about us, how we can support in your journey, please feel free to reach out to us. And also, alternatively, our marketing team will be in touch to gather the feedback and also ask any questions you may have. Again, just would like to say thank you for taking a time out from your busy schedule and join us on today's session. I hope you found the session insightful and useful. Please be in touch. Thank you again, everyone. Thanks a lot.